Hello everyone, this is part 33 of What If Naruto was exiled after he brought Sasuke back, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. The door to the classroom opened and Micah smiled seeing his godmother enter. Hey Iruka, Rin, she said and looked at her students. Team 7 come with me, she said to their surprise. Kurenai was behind her. Team 8 with me, and you too Rin. Rin looked surprised. Me, she squeaked. Kurenai smiled. You've been reassigned. Rin sighed. Well Iruka, it's been fun, she said grabbing her stuff and following Team 8. Ino walked next to her. So, you're still our sensei? Looks like it. I think I see why. I can continue your training in the medical arts and at the same time help Kiba. How? Ino asked. I was an Inuzuka before I was kicked out. Kushina adopted me into the Uzumaki clan, but I still keep in touch with my older sister, Kiba's mother. Why were you kicked out? If you don't mind me asking. Ino asked and the others were listening. Chum's husband kicked me out because I didn't bond with any of the dogs in the clan. I showed SKS outside the clan and he didn't like that, so he kicked me out. Chum couldn't overturn it since it had been several years, and I have a new family. You mean Naruto and Micah? Shikamaru asked. Yes, they are family to me. I am still related to Kiba and know a lot of the clan's tactics, so I can help him. I also think I can help Kushina with you and Choji, but I'll need to find out what she's doing. XX. Tsunade looked at her team. Anko was sitting on a stump, her arms crossed and waiting to see what a Sannin could teach. Alright, now as your leader, we'll be working on numerous things. Team tactics, expanding your knowledge of jutsus, and I plan to make you 4 better than the Sannin. Tsunade said sitting on the log as they gathered before her. 3 of you are scared medics. Naruto's been taught to be an assault unit by Kakashi and Jiraiya. Naruto grinned. And with the fact Micah and Naruto can perform the Kage Bunshin, we're not only a search and rescue team, but with the SKS you all know I bet we could be an assault team when needed. What do you mean search and rescue? Sakura asked. Hinata's Byakugan, the boys' enhanced senses and their shadow clones, and with what Anko and I teach you, you'll be able to go toe-to-toe with anyone Sakura. Me. Tsunade nodded. I believe I can teach you my strength techniques and continue your medic nin training. Hinata will learn some of Anko's snake style and blend it in with the Juken style. The boys grinned at this. Add in the fact these two can also double as demolitionists with some of their pranks, we'll be an all-purpose squad. Tsunade said and she looked at Anko. Anything to say? Not yet. The mesh-wearing Kunoichi said. We'll be spending the next 4 weeks training hard. Both Anko and I refuse to suffer D-rank missions. Don't we have to do a certain amount of D-rank missions before we can move up to the C rank, sensei? Hinata asked. The older blonde wrinkled her nose. We're going to cheat, Tsunade said. She looked at Naruto and Micah. This is where your shadow clones come in. You'll make 2 squads and Henjum to look like the team. I'll get the missions from the office and have the clones do them while we train. But aren't the D-rank missions important? Sakura asked. Micah and Naruto scoffed. They're paid chores Sakura. Micah said to his best friend. All they are jobs that the villagers don't want to do. What do you mean? She asked. Catching the Fire Lord's cat is a constant mission, has been since my Genin days. Tsunade said. Painting fences, cutting lawns, running stores, doing dishes. Tsunade looked guilty for a minute, but the Genin team she hired had them done in no time and it was 1,000 ryo well spent in her opinion. So while the clones do the chores, we train as hard as we can. In 1 month we'll take a low C rank mission. If you handle that we'll do more, if you can't we'll go back to training and the clones will do D ranks. Micah and Naruto talked silently and both had a grin. Aren't we supposed to do some kind of test, to prove we're a team? Sakura asked. We could, but they're stupid and a waste of time and resources. Our ninja forces would be a lot stronger if the academy was more strict like they were with Rin and Iruka. Tsunade said. I never a bell test or anything. Anko said. Anko, Start them with warming up and then run the course around the village we talked about. Sure thing, Tsunade-sama, the snake mistress said. Tsunade stood. I'm going to let the Hokage know you passed my test and that you're going to be starting missions tomorrow. They nodded and watched as she walked off. Anko's grin became feral. Oh, in your feet. Move it, move it, move it. And hell began as Anko became a drill instructor and they were soon doing jumping jacks, push-ups and then began their run around the village, Anko keeping pace and pushing them on if they slowed down. XX. Hokage's office. Tsunade. The Hokage said, seeing his former student. You failed them? He asked in surprise. No, they passed my test. I have Anko running them into the ground right now. I just wanted to let you know Team 7 is now active and will be starting missions tomorrow. The Hokage grinned and marked it down. Teams 1 to 6 already reported in failure. He said, I hope Team 7, 8 and 9 would be what I thought they would. The other teams failed. Tsunade asked, sitting down across from him. Bell tests, he said. Tsunade shook her head. How about keeping them as they are and have them trained up and try again in a couple months instead of wasting so much potential? He looked at her. Explain. Well, have Jonin and Chunin continue to train them as teams and chakra exercises and then have them try the tests later. The Bell test is a stupid way to decide on ninja careers. I mean, they have the potential. Train them properly. And then, if they fail, give them over to the administrative ranks to find them jobs. The Hokage nodded in thought. I'll have it tried. You were right about the medics on teams. Already the survival rate of the Chunin, Jonin and Anbu squads has risen 60%. Tsunade smirked. And just think if it had passed when I mentioned it while I was younger. The Hokage nodded. With the opposition in the council removed for the most part, it was easier to get things taken care of for the ninja forces. I've got Jiraiya on a mission with Obito and Kakashi. I decided we couldn't survive a ninja prank war. Tsunade laughed. Well, I know they wouldn't, because the twins have so many ideas. She said proudly. They talked about other things. Tsunade, seeing the time, stood. I best go make sure that Anko left them alive for tomorrow. Good luck, Tsunade. I am proud of you for taking a team. Tsunade grinned before leaving. The Hokage looked at the paperwork and sighed. There has to be a replicating jutsu on these. They never end. XX. Namika's household. Kushina looked on as her sons were falling asleep at the table. She shot Tsunade a look, but the older woman just grinned. Rin looked tired, but not as badly. Your team pass? Kushina asked. Oh yeah. It was a combination Bell test tracking test. They did very well, Rin said. Ino's got some issues, but with Kurenai, I think that the young Yamanaka will make a fine kunoichi. The three women finally helped the boys upstairs and watched as they were asleep before they hit the bed. Do you need to be so hard on them? She asked Tsunade as they sat down in front of the fire. If I'm hard on them now, they'll come back alive when it matters. The academy needs an overhaul. Kushina nodded at this. Rin and Iruka did wonders with their class, but so many others are letting students through that really don't have the SK. Sensei said that the first 6 teams failed their tests. I gave him an alternative to try and I'll suggest forming them into a village force instead. It would free up Chunin and Jonin for other duties. Kushina sighed. I'm glad you have the boys. Even if they went to Kakashi or Obito I would be worrying. But I know you're a lot safer and won't take too many risks. What do you mean too many? Tsunade said with a mock pout. Kushina smiled. You have to admit, your pride does get you in trouble, Tsunade-heim. Tsunade pouted and Rin, half asleep, giggled. Just don't take any bets and all should be fine. Hush you, Tsunade said. So, the boys, and the girlfriends, this should be an interesting team, no matter what happens. Kushina shook her head. Missions out of the village will be interesting for you to say the least. Tsunade paused, sipping her tea. Forgot about that. I'm not sure who will need more watching, the boys, or the girls. Rin snickered. Or Anko. Tsunade sighed. Crap. The night passed and 3 went to bed. Tomorrow was going to be long for all of them. 6 saw Tsunade dragging herself out of her nice warm bed and cursing herself for taking a genin team. Shizune shook her head as her mentor shuffled into the kitchen. You know you wouldn't want it any other way, she said, handing Tsunade an extra hot coffee. The older woman grunted and went back to get dressed. She passed Naruto and Micah, both grunted and Shizune laughed at the sight of the 3 of them. If there's ever trouble before 7, Konoha is doomed. Micah grunted and grabbed the rest of Tsunde's coffee and downing it in one gulp. Naruto was pouring 2 glasses of orange juice. You both were up late last night, Shizune said. A grunt from each had her shaking her head. Now, don't be disappointed by the D-rank missions. Everyone has to do them, and they do give you money. Chores, Micah mumbled. They'd seen several D-rank missions play out over the years. And after you do them you get to train with Tsunade and Anko. Shizune said, trying to put a brighter spin on it, and watched as both boys shivered. She smiled, recalling how tired they'd been after an afternoon with Anko and her boot camp. Tsunade came down 10 minutes later looking more awake and dressed. She was putting her hair into her twin pigtails and put her jacket over the back of the chair. Anko will pick the girls up and meet us at the tower. You both better get ready, we have a lot to do today. She smiled at the groans and winked at Shizune, who knew the plan that Tsunade had. The clones the boys created would do the jobs and they would get plowed into the ground to make them the best team around. Micah looked at his godmother. I resign. His squeal as she grabbed his ear told everyone in range that his godmother didn't accept. XX. Sakura and Hinata sighed at the end of the day. Both girls were not the stamina freaks of the boys, and the pace Anko put it left them both hating the mesh-wearing woman and considering a mutiny against the legendary Sannin as they stood over the 4 smirking. Go collect our pay, Bar-chan, Naruto said as he laid on the ground. They finished the 5 jobs you pulled. Micah mumbled and his eyes saw Sakura was asleep already. I thought they taught you brats at the academy. Anko teased. She was picking on them. She knew they were doing better than many, as the boys had been trained since they were young, as had Hinata. Sakura was close as well, as they'd trained with her after she became friends with Micah. All day training and only now are they giving up. The snake Jonan thought as Hinata leaned her head on Naruto's shoulder. Both looked ready to sleep where they were. Tsunade gave her a look and nodded. Anko left to collect the pay. Tsunade knelt before them, her eyes taking them in. You know why I'm doing this, right? You're a sadist, Naruto mumbled. Because Ero-Sannin used us to get pictures of you when we were younger, Micah said. Sakura let out a soft snore and Hinata mumbled, you want us to survive. Correct, she said to Hinata and smiled, seeing the girl lean further against Naruto. She had to fight the urge to take a picture for Kushina and her own collection. But do we have to be the best right off the bat? Micah asked. No, but I'd rather get you there and avoid chances later on something could go wrong. Tsunade sighed. I don't want to lose any of you the way I lost Dan or my little brother. Naruto gave a soft snore and Micah smiled. If I wasn't used to the insane hours you had me keep, I'd be out. Rest, I'll wake you all in a couple hours, Tsunade said. Her hand glowed green and Micah smiled. Cheetah, he mumbled before sleep claimed him. XX. Hokage Tower, mission room. Anko smirked as she collected the vouchers. 5 missions. Iruka said in disbelief. Your team must be fast workers. You wouldn't believe it. They're a good group of kids, she said, signing the log that she was taking the pay and would distribute it to her team. How are they, really? Iruka asked. Good. Determined, all of them, Anko said. How about the other teams? Team 8 haven't come back from their mission, but they didn't take one until after lunch, Iruka said, looking at the missions that were taken. Team 9 with Asuma and Guy leading them did 2 missions. I think Guy was talking about training with Shino to get him used to working with the team. Usually they do 2 D ranks a day and train in the afternoon, then every other week they would take a low C rank mission. Anko nodded. I agree with the Genin, D ranks suck. They're jobs that people just don't want to do themselves. Iruka smiled. I still take a D rank every so often to get some pocket money when classes aren't in session. You could be a Jonin now, Iruka, Anko said. He shrugged. I enjoy teaching at the academy. Anko shook her head and looked at the board. I'll take that C rank delivery mission for myself, Anko said. Should you do that? I mean with students, and I'll be back by morning, Anko said. And Lady Tsunade told me I can take some C ranks to keep me from getting fidgety. Iruka pulled the mission file and marked it in the book. Horatio Chun-Li needs someone to run to the trade town at the border and bring back. Anko looked up from reading the mission. You're sting me. Iruka shook his head. He wants a special order of curry and he's paying for a C rank mission fee to see that it gets to him, and he's offered a bonus for promptness. Anko read the mission again. Thanks, she said, and after getting the address she went to confirm with the client about the mission. XX. Tsunade woke the team after Anko left. Alright, light contact spar, taijutsu only. Hinata vs Mika, Naruto vs Sakura, then switch to Naruto vs Hinata and Mika vs Sakura after 10 minutes. The four went to it, and Tsunade was happy to see all four had a solid understanding of their taijutsu. She smiled as Sakura and Mika spared. She could see the look on both her Gosun's face and his best friend's. They might not see it, but it's there. Tsunade thought. She turned and saw Hinata using the Juken attacks without the chakra in her fingers attacking Naruto, who with long time training with her avoided or blocked her attacks by smacking her wrists aside. With the way they're going, we'll be ready a lot sooner. I wonder. Tsunade paused as she felt a presence. It was just at the edge of sensing range. Whomever it is, isn't friendly. She thought. Enough. She called and was proud that all four stopped at her command. She looked at the direction the feeling was coming from and it vanished. It's not safe here, we'll need a different training ground. I don't like people spying on my team. Enough for today. Here's your pay from the D-rank missions. Go home and soak in the shower. Tomorrow we'll continue with team formations and run a couple of scenarios. Mika agreed to help Sakura back to the Yamanakas, and Hinata was walking with Naruto, who told Tsunade he would be home later. The slug Sanan watched them go and thought of the potential in her team. XX. Elsewhere. Doofus. Pervert. Jiraiya sighed as the two behind him continued to bicker. They'd left Konoha behind and were currently dressed as simple merchants. Stop it, he said as the pair continued to trade insults. Obito, wearing a sky blue shirt and simple pants, looked at him, then pointed at Kakashi, who had his hair dyed black and was wearing a gray shirt and black pants with a battered tan coat. He started it. Jiraiya's books are literary gold. Kakashi defended. Jiraiya smirked when he learned that the usually stoic Kakashi was one of his biggest fans and had signed all the man's books. This of course was hidden from Kushina, Rin, Shizune and Tsunade. Yeah, then if they're so great, why don't you read 'em around Rin? Obito asked with a smirk. And you hide them when the boys come over. Obito continued, speaking of when Naruto and Mika visited. Kakashi winced thinking of what the twins would do. They loved him and Jiraiya, but they had been raised by Kushina, Rin, Shizune and Tsunade for the most part and had been taught on what to say and not say to women, and Tsunade had trained the boys to attack Jiraiya whenever he acted perverted or was seen near the hot springs. Rin had taught him to attack those who read the Ika Ika books in public. Kakashi still shivered at what they had done to the Hokage, who thought his office was safe. See, Obito said. How can you say that? Kakashi said. You've never read them. I don't need to read them. I'm dating Rin, Obito said proudly. Kakashi pulled out a battered first book and extended it to his friend. I'll tell you what, read this, and try some of it with Rin. If it doesn't work, and she isn't happy with the results, I'll, Kakashi muttered it under his breath, then came up with an alternative. I'll pay for you and Rin for an all-expense weekend at a resort. And if otherwise, Obito asked his best friend. You'll buy the set for yourself and come to the book club meeting every month. Kakashi said. Jiraiya smirked and wondered if he could help tip the scales in Kakashi's favor any. XX. Konoha. Four women sitting at a kitchen table shivered at the same time. Tsunade narrowed her eyes. My pervert senses are tingling, she said, and her mind was already looking for ways to blame Jiraiya and send him into orbit. I just know he's involved somehow. 3 months later. K the cat. Naruto yelled. Ninja kicked the damn cat. Mika yelled in total agreement with his brother. Hinata held Tora, the Fire Lord's wife's cat, and petted it while Sakura held them back by their belts. Tsunade sighed. The Hokage had caught them using the clones and this was their punishment. It's not like the jobs weren't being done, Tsunade thought as she watched her 4 students as they performed the Retrieve Tora mission. Naruto and Mika had done it before, or more exactly their clones had done the job before. 9 times to be exact, but this time instead of a clone taking damage, the Namikaze boys had gotten too close on the last dive for the cat and Tora showed him the claws up close and personal. That's not a cat, Naruto growled. It's a Tasmanian devil on crack, speed and whiskey, Mika said. At his godmother's look he got a sheepish look. What? Uncle Obito said it first. Tsunade sighed. Hinata, Please confirm that the cat is Tora. The girl nodded and made sure it was wearing the proper ribbon and collar. It is Tora. Tsunade nodded and stepped closer. She leaned down just out of reach. Tora-chan, I know you seem to like these chases and I know your mistress allows you to play, but if my team gets this job one more time, I will allow them to use any means necessary. The cat gave Tsunade a flat look. I know you're immortal, and I know this is your only outlet, but my team is too good to continue to do this. So I ask that you inform your mistress that you'll be good for a year. The cat gave her another flat look. Then to the shock of the four genin spoke. I want tuna. Canned. Tsunade said. Fresh. The cat counted. Fresh once a week, canned the rest of the time. Tsunade counted. Fresh tuna once a week, 1 can of tuna a day, and milk. Done. Tsunade said and extended her hand, shaking the cat's paw. You're the only one besides my mistress that knows what I am. Tora said. The cat looked at Hinata. Please continue petting, you have nice hands. Hinata did as she was asked and rubbed the cat's shoulder and end while cradling her in her other arm. It talks, Micah said. Tora looked at the pair and made a huffing sound. I am sorry for the scratches, but you both came out of nowhere and smelled like foxes. Naruto blinked and shook his head. That's okay. Sorry we startled you. We're upset at being punished for being inventive and took it out on you. Tora nodded. You can't tell anyone about me. As far as the shinobi of the village know, I am a descendant of the original Tora and every decade I just alter my fur a bit and use the time seeing how Konoha is and testing the genin. Tora looked at Tsunade. Tsunade Senju found out my secret when she was sneaking in the daimyo's garden and heard me talking to the Fire Lord's young bride. Question. Sakura said raising her hand out of habit. Tsunade and Anko worked to break her of that habit, but once in a while it surfaced, usually when she was surprised. Yes, young one. How are you immortal? Are you a summon? Sakura asked. Tora shook her head. Alas, I am cursed. Long ago, even before the ninja wars when the world was different, I was the daughter of a wealthy merchant. One day an old man sought sanctuary in my father's home. I was alone, it was a bad winter and my father was traveling selling whatever wares held his interest. I told him no and shut the door. I didn't know he was a sorcerer and he cursed me. He turned me into a cat and gifted me with immortality so I would forever watch others' lives pass me by. That's horrible. Sakura and Hinata said. I spent years moving around until I came here. The village the Senju brothers were building intrigued me. I spent years watching ninja and villages. And now we know. Hinata said, her fingers dancing in the cat's fur and getting a satisfied purr. I will let the daimyo's wife know. You four will be able to visit me, or if you want we can use these D-rank mission retrievals as a chance to talk. 4 sets of eyes looked at Tsunade who snorted. I suppose, once a week would be fine. She looked at the cat shrewdly. You're not thinking of compromising my students, are you? Tora made what sounded like a chuckle. No, but I do like listening. I've watched some of your training exercises and this is the most interesting group of genin I've seen in a long time. Tora looked at Tsunade. And I did warn you about your teammate. Tsunade nodded, she remembered the warning long ago and how she'd failed to acknowledge it. My own pride kept me from listening. She looked at her team, remember this, all 4 of you. When Tora tells you something, listen. Micah was looking at the cat who gave him a look. Go ahead, run your scan. How'd you know? Micah asked, his hand glowing green for the diagnostic jutsu. Tora made the chuckling sound. Tsunade had the same look when she was your age. She wanted to see if there was anything different. Tsunade watched her godson as he went through all the different jutsus. And, she inquired. There's a high level of an unknown enzyme, but I wouldn't have found it if I didn't use 3 different jutsus at once. Micah said and his godmother smiled at him. It took me months to figure that out. Micah smiled as Naruto patted him on the back. He had a great teacher, right bro? Micah nodded and Tsunade was pleased. Sakura and Hinata got to run the checks as well. Tora was patient and looked at Tsunade. You've taught them well. They are precious to me, and I don't want to lose them, so I make sure they're ready for anything. Tora made an approved sound. Better than what others are doing, dragging half-trained children into combat. The Sandaime raised the graduation age to 16 because we were losing too many children. Tsunade said. He's also instituted the medic program in the academy. Tora nodded. I've seen it. You're doing very well, and I am happy to see you have given the village another chance. Tsunade snorted. My reason for being here isn't as noble as that, Tora. I'm here for my godchildren. If they weren't here, I'd be far from here and Konoha would have never been a speck on the horizon. XX. Tora had been returned and the mission pay collected after Tsunade talked with the daimyo's wife in private, ensuring that Tora would get the agreed upon fish. Hiruzen watched as the best team to date was leaving. Tsunade, a word. The elder blonde sighed and told the team to go to the training ground and meet Anko at the training ground. Once they were gone, she looked at her former sensei and crossed her arms and waited for him to speak. He took his time filling his pipe and lighting it with a spark jutsu. Your team has done a lot of D-rank missions and I admit the idea of using shadow clones while training your team wasn't what I had in mind when giving out missions. You coming in to get the missions kept me from knowing about it. Tsunade shrugged. Her new plan was to bring her team with her to get the mission scrolls and then once out of the tower have the boys make with the cage bunshin and go back to training. Your point being, sensei? Tsunade asked. He sighed and puffed on his pipe. I know you and Anko hate D ranks, and the boys believe they are paid chores. Which they are, Tsunade said. The style of missions that D ranks are, they are a waste of resources and they are insults. Academy students should be used to do them. Teach them teamwork in the academy by having them do the jobs. Allow genin to do escort missions and the out-of-village delivery missions, like my grandfather had them set up. Hiruzen sighed. It was an old argument, one that he couldn't win whichever way he agreed with. It would take restructuring and the council refuses to use academy students like that. F the council. The ninja and ninja academy are under the sole direction of the Hokage. He nodded. If they don't like it they can give up their seats, they are here to help you, but it seems all they do is hinder you. Even with the purge, it seems we still get idiots in their place. Hiruzen nodded. He thought with the removal of the Haruno and Danzo's allies things would clear up and for a time they did. But as the newer member of the council got comfortable they started to cause trouble. I'll think about it and talk it over with Iruka. He said. He'd put Iruka in charge of the academy after the purge. Numerous teachers and the headmaster had been part of Danzo's attempts to take over. Iruka still taught, but was the headmaster as well now. Tsunade looked at her mentor. We want a C rank. She said. What? You said we did a lot of D ranks, and if my count is right we've done double the number needed. Hiruzen sighed and puffed on his pipe. Bring them in tomorrow morning. He said, knowing she had used technicalities to get her way again. The missions were done, her team was trained and there was really nothing he could do as she'd done it all within the boundaries of the rules. Tsunade smiled. And it better not be something lame. She growled and left. Hiruzen looked at the stack of missions and remembered the client he'd spoken to an hour earlier. Yes, that should do well. He thought. A simple escort and bodyguard mission against bandits. The Hokage thought and prepared the scroll for Tsunade and Team 7. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.